presentation look okay? We can see.
Yeah, everything looks good. So yeah, so I'll kick us off here and maybe we'll give another 60 seconds because so far it doesn't look like we have any attendees yet, but maybe we'll wait for about a minute.
If I pull down this participant list, can you guys see that on my screen? No, we're okay?
Yeah,
okay.
See it at all.
Great.
Good.
You want us to present whether we have students or not?
If that is fine with you, I guess, like, you know, as a volunteer, I'm like, I don't make the decision. I just was told to show up. So it's completely up to you guys.
They record them, so that would be
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, I'll still kick us off. I just have a couple of housekeeping items, so I'll do that too if it's all a part of the recording. But essentially, just want to welcome all of our students to the virtual college exploration for all Ohio students. As you can see here, we have a couple of just housekeeping items on your screen. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website at oacac.org. So now I would like to turn it over to our presenters for them to get started.
Welcome to Valparaiso University. We will be telling you a little bit about the school and the city. I'll introduce myself. I'm Nancy Janke, and I am Assistant Director of Admissions for Michigan and Northern Ohio. And I have a couple colleagues here with me.
My name is Emily Brighton. I am an admission counselor here at Valparaiso University, and I work with students in Southern Ohio, kind of Columbus and down. You're muted, Joel.
It always happens with. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joel Johnson. I work with students primarily in the Chicagoland area as well. And I'll be working off screen, handling your questions.
All right, sounds good.
Well, we will get started. At any time, just post your questions in the chat, and Joel will be managing those, and we will address those as best we can in a timely manner. So, all right. Actually, do you have the Valpo history slide?
Oh, yes, that's next. If you want to.
Right. Okay. I usually flip them, but that's okay.
No problem.
Oh, okay. Not a problem. All right. Well, Valparaiso University is an independent Lutheran university. We were founded in 1859. So we've been around a long time. We are just located south of Chicago, about an hour in the northwest corner of Indiana. And we are the little corner that is still on Central Time. So that's a little bit of a quirk, but it works fine. We sit on some beautiful land. We have 320 acres included in our campus. And as you can see on the screen, it's a very nice size campus for the approximately 3,300 students that we have enrolled in our 5 colleges, which we will get to in just a little bit. We're in a great location. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But Valpo is a university that has a deep community feeling. We're full of traditions. A few of those include the victory bell that we have, and that is oftentimes rung when a team wins a game. Lots of graduates ring the bell in May after receiving their diplomas. We have a convocation ceremony when incoming freshmen begin officially on campus, and we celebrate you. Faculty and staff are there in their full regal outfits, and we just it's a way that we like to welcome you to campus. We have a tree lighting ceremony to kick off the holidays, and that's always fun. And then finally, one other one is a kissing bridge that's been around for a very long time. So if you end up coming here, maybe you'll find some special someone and be able to get on that bridge. As I mentioned, we are located in Valparaiso, Indiana. And that again is located just an hour south of Chicago. So as far as location, we are close to the city, lots of resources there. We are located about 20 minutes from the Indiana State Dunes. And that's a really great pastime that our students like to take advantage of. When the weather permits, the dunes are right there. People carpool and just get away from classes for a little bit. Valparaiso, Indiana, as a city, houses about 33,000 residents. So it's a really nice sized town. And actually it's become kind of a bedroom community of Chicago. So a lot of people who live in Valparaiso work in Chicago. So they take the train or drive in themselves. But it's a really, really wonderful, beautiful community. Center of town, we have Central Park Plaza. And they use that for all sorts of things. In the winter, we have an ice skating rink, which is really fun. And students from the university are downtown all the time. So they take advantage of that. In the spring and summer, we have an outdoor movie theater. And so they show movies. And there's always something happening. There's an incredible eating scene in Valpo. And students take advantage of that quite often. And they try all the different restaurants. So there's just lots going on. We have local transportation, we have the V line, we have a campus shuttle. So there's no lack of opportunities for you to go shopping. We have all the big stores, Meijer, Target, you name it. If you need things, we actually have transportation that's provided to you to get to those stores and pick up things you might need. So I think that's it. And anything that you want to add, Emily, before we go to the next?
No, you covered it really great. And I just want to welcome Olivia. So hi, Olivia. We're excited to be watching. We do have another admission counselor manning our chat feature. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to let us know, drop those in the chat, and we will respond to you.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our academics here at Valpo. So we have 5 academic colleges. So we have the College of Nursing, College of Arts and Sciences, College of Business, College of Engineering, and then Christ College, which is our honors college. So depending on what your major is, if you would like to drop that in the chat, that would be awesome. So we know a little bit about what you're interested in. We can tailor it to you. Depending on your major, you would be placed into one of those academic colleges. If you are really interested in advanced curriculum, have done a lot of AP or IB courses, you can absolutely get involved in our Christ College. They take around 90 students a year, and they would invite those students to apply. Typically, like I said, it's for students who really enjoy kind of that academic rigor and are really interested in kind of digging deeper into that. But as you can see in the middle, we have been historically ranked, in US News and World Report as best undergraduate teaching school. And in the Princeton Review, one of the best colleges in the Midwest. We actually have won that now again for 2020, so that's very exciting. So it's a great academic environment here. We offer a lot of academic support services as well. So as you can see, we have our Career Center, we have a variety of learning centers, our Access and Accommodation Resource Center, Counseling Center, Student Health Center. So loads of different opportunities for you to get the support you need on campus. All these services are free for students to use, and you can begin to use them right away as a freshman. So you might not think that going to the Career Center could be for you when you're a freshman, but that's something that we really encourage students to do right away, just because we can work with you on networking events, we can look at your resume, set you up with on-campus jobs or off-campus jobs, and really help you kind of fulfill every aspect of your college career. Our learning centers are our peer tutoring centers. So if you ever need a paper to be looked over, some help citing your sources, or even help in that Bio 101 course, you can go and have some free peer tutoring in that Learning Resource Center. I believe most or all of our 100 and 200 level classes should be covered by those learning centers. If you have something like an IEP, or if you have a food allergy, or just something that you need a little extra, connecting with our Access and Accommodations Resource Center right away is really important for that. Usually when people hear access and accommodations, they think, oh, it's only if I need, you know, extra time on tests or something like that. But it could be as simple as I have a peanut allergy and it's important to me that my roommate will know and respect that. So we want to make sure that you're getting everything that you do need. And as well, our counseling center and health center are pretty self-explanatory, but they're just there to make sure that you are healthy, not only physically, but mentally while you're on campus. Give me 1 second to change the slide here. It's a little tricky.
All right. So lots of things to get involved in as a student on campus. We have over 100 different groups and organizations that you can get involved with, anything from academic to political to cultural to community and spiritual. So we have lots of different groups to offer our students. If for some reason there's not a group that you're interested in, we're small enough, and our faculty and staff, we're just supportive, and we would love to help you start a group if it's not already available. So you just need to grab a couple friends and work with a faculty person, and we can help you get a group started. We offer Greek and sorority life, fraternity and sorority life. So we have 17 fraternities and sororities, and about 30% of our student body is involved in that. Not required, but it is a fairly popular thing to get involved with. But that also leaves 70% of the student body doing other things. So you surely don't need to get involved if you don't want to. One thing I really love about Valpo and Greek life is that they don't start recruiting and rushing until second semester of freshman year. I like that because it gives freshmen an opportunity to sort of get settled, just get used to being in college and away from home. And so there are different activities that are sponsored by the fraternities and sororities that first semester, but they're very casual, and you know, the recruitment part doesn't start till second semester. Freshman year, if you're like, hey, I don't want to do this right now, that's not an issue. You can always join sophomore year or even junior year. So that's a little bit about our Greek life. We have a council that plans all of the fun things on campus, and that's our University Programming Council. So well, pre-COVID, there were things like heading to Chicago for a baseball game. They bring in artists and concerts and all sorts of things. So lots to do. They're on social media. So Instagram, I mean, they publicize what's happening on campus every day. So there's always something going on that you can take advantage of. We have intramural and club sports. So we'll talk a little bit about the fact that we are Division I athletics. However, if you are retiring after high school, we do have intramural and club sports available. We have ultimate frisbee, soccer, tennis, things like that. The intramurals include things like flag football and softball. And they're very popular with, the fraternities and sororities. A lot of times, your floor, like your dorm floor, will put a team together. Our honors college, Christ College, actually my son is part of a volleyball team right now from the Christ College class, so that's fun. So lots of opportunities for you to get involved that way and get a little exercise and stay in shape. So we also have the Office of Multicultural Programs, and that includes a number of different organizations, but we like to represent everybody. So that is their job, and that's what they do. And then finally, we do have a really active study abroad program. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like with this whole COVID situation. However, many opportunities to study abroad. That can be during a summer, that can be during a semester. Usually those, they're offered starting like your sophomore year through your junior and senior year. So we work with you, your advisors, make sure that classes are in order so that you're able to take advantage of a new culture as well as stay on top of classes. So this is kind of a big slide, lots of information, but We are an independent Lutheran university, which means we are a Christian university. We have lots of different opportunities for worship, but it is not required. We have students of all sorts of different faiths. We have students of no faith. So it is not a requirement. It's not an admission requirement to have a faith belief. So just know that we welcome everybody. We have chapel every day, and that is just a pause in the day. It's a 20-minute set. It starts at 9:50 in the morning, goes till 10 after 10. And it's just a pause. There are no classes being held. If you choose to take advantage of the chapel service, you are welcome to do so, but sometimes students end up meeting up with friends or just, taking a pause. And then we have services during the week, obviously on Sundays. So those are just some of the offerings that we offer our students from a worship standpoint. Lots of other opportunities to get involved. If you are mission-oriented, we offer mission trips over breaks. We do a Valpo Day of Caring, which really unites Valparaiso as a city and the campus. We have students who go out and help residents of Valpo and surrounding areas with things like, home repair, raking leaves, just things like that, to show that we love the community that we're in and we want to help others. So, and then finally, lots of opportunities for fine arts. We have many musical ensembles. One thing I love about Valpo is that you may be majoring in engineering, yet you still have the opportunity to be part of a musical ensemble. You could join the chorale, or if you play an instrument. So some schools say that you cannot be involved in anything music unless you're in the music program. So that's awesome. We have our own art gallery, the Brower Museum of Art, and we have a pretty extensive collection, but we also bring in other collections from around the country. And that is actually, the community takes advantage of that. So it's another way to sort of bring Valpo as a community and Valpo as a university together. We have theater, student art showcases, all sorts of things. So I could go on and on, but it gives you a little taste of what we have to offer. Any questions?
Oh, sorry, Nance.
Oh, go ahead. I'm like,
as you can see, our students are very, very involved. So we have lots of things to get involved in. The list, like Nancy said, just goes on and on. But just a little bit about our Division I athletics. Not sure if you are interested in athletics, Olivia, but they are just a really great way to kind of get involved even more so in our community. So if you are not interested in playing, they are still free for students to attend. So you don't have to worry about, catching basketball or football tickets early and paying for those. As long as you have your student ID, you can pop right into athletics. So, sorry, I lost the train of thought. But it's just really fun to kind of get involved in that, making sure that you are grabbing, your friends and your roommates, going to games. That's pretty cool. We are in the Missouri Valley Conference for most of our sports. We are in the Pioneer Football League as well, the Southland Bowling League, and then the Summit League for swimming.
I forgot to mention too, all of the other activities on the previous slide are free to our students. So any sort of production, concert, free to our students, like our sporting events.
And I see, Olivia, you are interested in bowling. That's awesome. Our bowling coach is like one of my favorite coaches to work with on campus. His name is Sean Johnson. He is amazing, and we do have a number of bowling scholarships. So I would recommend, if you haven't already, visit our website. There's going to be a recruitment questionnaire that you can kind of fill out on there. That'll send your information to the coaches. Since we are D1, coaches aren't allowed to make the first point of contact. A student kind of has to go to them first. So we are also in a dead period right now. So if you don't hear back from him right away, don't worry about it. That's okay. It could just be kind of a COVID related thing for right now, but that's very cool.
Okay, so we are kind of in the middle of the whole application process. And I get it, it's kind of a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it to be very thorough with that application. This is new information for our students. Valparaiso University has chosen to go test optional for the next couple of years, which means that we will not be using the ACT and SAT scores in our application review process. So we'll obviously be looking at GPA. We'll look at rigor of your high school classes, obviously community involvement, what your activities are. So those things have become a little more important since we won't be using the test scores to evaluate our students. Now, if you've taken, had the opportunity to actually take the exam, many students have been postponed, rescheduled like 4 or 5 times. So that is part of the reason why we made this decision. But if you do have test scores and you would like us to use those in your evaluation, we're happy to do that. But as far as scholarship goes, we won't be incorporating those scores into merit scholarship decisions. So your first order of business is to finish your application and submit that. We, as a university, it's kind of cool. I always tell my students, you have nothing to lose because it's free to apply. We have our own application, and then we also accept the common application. And both of those are free to apply to Valpo. So you have nothing to lose. Wait and see what happens. So I hope that you decide to submit your application to Valpo, Olivia. After that, well, and another date that is important, a date that's important is November 1st. Typically that is sort of the scholarship deadline date. And Valpo likes to offer merit scholarships with their admit letters. So that would come right away. But the November 1st date is for departmental scholarships that we offer. So when applications come in, we see students who, let's say, environmental science, there may be a scholarship for that. So you would be flagged for that, and then that department would be reaching out to you and invite you to apply for that departmental scholarship. So that typically November 1st is like the date that you really should have your application in so that those other scholarships may be available to our students. What else? I think I covered most of it. FAFSA is the government sort of financial snapshot that we like to have free to submit that. Strongly encourage. Oh, I guess that's on the financial aid. Do you want to take over?
And it actually might be on a timer. I am so sorry. I feel like somebody messed with my PowerPoint today.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it could time out. But yeah, basic financial aid, super easy. We definitely highly recommend filling out the FAFSA. I'm just going to keep having to scroll back to this one. But FAFSA is due April 15th. It's going to open up October 1st. We also have a number of merit awards that are available for students. Last year, they ranged from around $22,000 to $30,000 a year. I believe this year, they're relatively the same. They are going to be working off of just weighted GPA alone since we are test optional this year. So you don't have to worry about, oh, if I don't apply with test scores, is that going to impact me? Don't worry, it's not going to. We're still going to review everybody for a merit-based award. And like Nancy said, if you apply before November 1st, depending on the department and the scholarship programs they have available, that is just a really good date to keep in mind so you're considered for all of those department-based scholarships. But yes, so no, I think that pretty much wraps us up, but we would love to hear if anybody has any questions. Joel is kind of manning our chat, so he can kind of pull from student participation, which would be great. But yeah, ask away. We're here to give you that information.
Where are you from, Olivia? Perfect. All right. So Emily is your counselor, I think.
Yes, that would be me. I definitely kind of miss being in the Ohio area. I got to travel a lot there last year, pre-COVID. So it was a very beautiful state. I had never been to Ohio before, but that's very exciting. So it'll be nice to work with you this year. You can absolutely connect with me about any questions that you might have. I don't know if Joel wants to enter in my email address at all into the chat so that you can ask me any questions that you might have. I would also love to help any way that I really can with athletics. We're kind of limited, but if you need the contact information of the coach, I could absolutely get that too as well.
Yeah, I'll put your email address out there. I'll send it right to the students that are in that area. Question about what's the turnaround time after a student applies? How soon will they hear? Well, two questions. I'm gonna connect them. How soon will a student hear their admissions decision? And then two, are we really test optional? I mean, does it really mean they don't have to take the test, or is that just like certain majors?
Yeah, sure. I can take this one. So we always kind of say 4 to 6 weeks after we receive a completed application, we will be able to review it, make that admission decision, and then kind of send that decision out to students. We are rolling admission school, so that just means that we are going to read the applications that we received first. So our application opened up in August. So right now I am reading all of my applications that have come in order since then. Like I said, we do get a little busier towards kind of that November 1st deadline. So it could just be a couple weeks before you hear back from us, but don't worry, we will definitely take care of your application. Once you get that admission decision, you would also receive, if you're going to be receiving a merit-based scholarship, that letter will come with that acceptance letter. So you'll at least get kind of a sneak peek of financial aid in that first admission packet. And like Joel had asked too, we absolutely are test optional. So applying with test scores or without them, that's totally up to you. We really wanted to make it an even playing field this year just because we know how hard it is for students to get tests. So if you submit your test score and they are, rock star test scores, we will absolutely look at them, consider them when we're making our admission decision. But no one is going to be penalized for not submitting a test or for submitting a test that might be a little on the lower side. Maybe, you struggle with being sitting down for so long in that kind of standardized testing environment, but you still want to send us your scores. That's okay too. We really don't want that to negatively impact your application at all.
So question about, are we open for in-person visits? And the answer is yes, we are. We are one of the few schools who are still offering face-to-face visits. So I think Joel, hopefully you can throw up that link for our visit link, but we actually offer a number of different opportunities. So you can schedule an on-campus visit, and that would include like a tour and meet with a admissions counselor. We currently have an opportunity, an Intro to Valpo Day, and that is scheduled for the 26th of September. And we do still have some spots open for that. So that is a great opportunity to just get a feel for what campus is like and meet the admission staff. We're there to help and answer questions. And we do have a couple, we have an Intro to Engineering virtual coming up, but that is sort of a type of visit that we're offering. And hopefully, not sure, we have offered overnights in the past, but right now I don't think that will be happening. But we do also have a number of Saturdays that we are offering visits. So if you go to our visit page on our website, you'll be able to see all the different dates available, and hopefully there might be a date that will work in your calendar, and you can come see us in person. So let's see.
Okay, got another question here. What's living on campus like? What's res life like at Valpo?
Yes, of course. I love to talk about res life. So we are gonna, fingers crossed that my presentation will stick on this slide for a little bit at least. So for residence life at Valpo, we do require 6 semesters. Shoot, it's not gonna work. I'm so sorry. 6 semesters on campus in the residence halls. We have 3 freshman residence halls. So for that first year, you will reside in one of those 3 halls on campus. They are all fairly similar. You can see a picture here. Yeah, pretty basic. So one of our residence halls was more recently updated, so that has movable furniture. The other 2 residence halls do have furniture that is kind of set in place where it is, but it's kind of retro. I really like them. I feel like if I was a student, those were the halls that I would want to live in. It is just really, really going through all of our slides. I'm so sorry. But yes, so after freshman year, you can absolutely move into any of our other residence halls on campus. We have some suite style dorms. We have some apartments that count as on campus. If you're interested in fraternity and sorority life, that's an option as well.
Yeah. And so we get a question a lot about why are 6 semesters required to be on campus. We just feel that that helps build the community of Valparaiso University. So you're eating together, you're living together. We haven't mentioned, I didn't mention during the faith opportunities, but we have the largest Lutheran University chapel in the country. And so that sits in the center of campus. And then that is right across the street from Hara Union, which is the student union. And that has founders, our founders table, which is the one large cafeteria on campus, lots of different food offerings, even for allergies, you know, dairy, gluten, you name it. We have an entire section just for students who have those challenges. That is, I lost my train of thought. Why did I tell you that? Those two are like the main center of campus for our students.
Okay, another question from the field.
Okay.
I'm framing this part here that I'm sure the students hope that this is not the case when they start next fall, but for right now, in the pandemic, how has Valpo been managing having students on campus and keeping everybody safe?
Yeah, I don't know, Nancy, if you want to share a little bit how it has been having your own children on campus. Nancy is our resident Valpo mom, so she's had many students go through Valpo as well as herself. So I don't know if you want to take this kind of from a perspective too.
Absolutely. I currently have 3 of my 5 children at Valpo taking classes. So our youngest are twins and they headed off, they're freshmen. I personally, from a parent perspective, they're doing a fantastic job. I feel they've been very transparent. They have very high expectations for our students to follow the rules. So I check in with my kids every day. They're wearing masks, social distancing. The university administration have taken every step possible to make sure that the students can have as normal college experience as possible. So they've opened extra buildings that haven't been used before. They have increased the passing time between classes to 20 minutes so that students have time to get there, maybe clean their workspace. But what I love is that Valpo is still offering a variety of classes in a variety of different ways. So my kids have face-to-face classes, probably half of them. They have some that are online. They have some that are asynchronous. So things that are pre-recorded, they can do it whenever. But they have not complained. They've actually said that they're doing a great job. And then Valpo posts every Monday, Wednesday, Friday an update to just COVID and what's happening on campus. And currently, as of yesterday, we have two cases, and that's it. There are universities all over the country who are absolutely struggling and just out of control with cases. So the efforts and the steps that Valparaiso University has taken have really paid off. And so far, we're in pretty good shape. So.
Okay, I have this question or something like this. So I'm kind of mixing it up. A couple of students I want to know about what do we look for as far as admission? If they don't have, I think you mentioned the GPA earlier or a range, or maybe I heard that in my head. Nevertheless, what do we look at if a student doesn't have as strong a GPA, especially since we're going test optional? How might they compete for admission and possibly scholarships?
Yeah, of course. So like we said with test optional, you can absolutely submit those test scores. If your GPA might not be the strongest, but you have great test scores, we are still going to consider that as part of your application. I would also really recommend writing a personal statement. If there were any, struggles throughout your 4 years of high school, any kind of special circumstance that may have happened, especially with this year with COVID. I've already heard from students who, had a parent who may have gotten sick and they had to kind of pick up slack at home, or they themselves came down with COVID and it kind of took them out of school for a while. I know that a lot of these are really just kind of out in left field situations. So that's really what that personal statement is all about, is telling us who you are, telling us about your experiences and giving us kind of an insight to any academic situations that may have occurred during your high school year. If you weren't a strong test taker, we have also had students kind of talk about, how they may have struggled with standardized testing, what they did to kind of overcome that, anything that they have really done to improve those, and how that kind of has affected them. So that personal statement is really like a magnifying glass on your application. It just helps really bring everything into focus. I also really highly recommend any letters of recommendation, especially in the area of study that you're looking into. So if you're interested in studying something in the sciences, having a science or math professor write those letters of recommendation are very helpful, because we can kind of see how your skills translated in their eyes. But in regards to merit scholarship, so this year merit scholarship is just based on GPA alone. However, if you do fill out the FAFSA, we are able to kind of look at the situation, look at all the different scholarships you may be getting, look at your family's, financial information, and we have so much more institutional aid available kind of behind the scenes. I always say it's like FAFSA is kind of opening another door that you wouldn't have access to unless you filled that out. So that's just my highest recommendation. If you are nervous about maybe not getting a high enough merit award, don't worry too much until you kind of see that full financial aid package, and send us that FAFSA information so we can look at kind of where you're situated, and we can always add more institutional aid on top of that. So that's pretty common at a lot of private schools, to look at what a student's need is and then assign need-based aid from there.
Absolutely. As far as like minimum requirements, like a 3.0 is probably the lowest GPA, but not in every case. But our average GPA is about a 3.7. And again, test scores used to matter. They don't really matter anymore. But we are small enough where us counselors, we read every single application that comes across our desk. So we're going to look at every section of your application, and we're going to say, hey, this student is a great student, or maybe wasn't so strong in the math, right? Maybe your grades in math are average. That's okay. We are able to communicate with you. If we have questions, we're going to call you, or reach out and kind of get more information about what's happening, or what happened junior year, whatever the case may be. But just encourage you to just be very thorough with that application. Since we don't have test scores anymore, we'll be looking at all the other areas, and to see who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah, and really it's going to be Nancy or I reading for the entire state of Ohio. So it's going to be one of us. Here we are, you're seeing us live, not quite in person, but virtually enough. So you know that it's a real person reading your story, looking over everything. We really try to take a holistic approach. So we want to make sure we get to know you as a student, all of your abilities, things you're involved in, all of those good things.
So, and Olivia, this may sway you. You're in Columbus. Our dog, rest in peace, was named Buckeye. So that should just tell you that go Ohio State.
Awesome.
That's our connection.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Olivia, for joining us, and thank you to you amazing admissions folks and staff for joining us as well. So Olivia, when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. So we would appreciate if you could provide that. And then also, this was just one of our mini sessions being hosted as well. So be sure to sign up for any additional sessions at oacac.org. And then in about a week, you will find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings. So thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening.
Thanks for joining us, Olivia.
Bye, thank you so much.
Have a great evening, everybody.